going on, my plant people? If you're new here, I am the ADHD gardener, where I use gardening, houseplants, and humor as a form of therapy. And I'm going to be making today a flow-through worm casting compost bin. And I can't wait to show you guys. I've been meaning to make this for a while. I use worm castings all the time. And after a while, I get kind of tired of buying them over and over again. So I thought to myself, I'm gonna make my own worm casting compost bin. I don't see what's so hard about it. So that's what I'm gonna do today. There are all different kind of methods of making a compost bin using worms. They come in all different shapes and sizes. The most standard kind is using a storage bin. You use a regular storage bin and then you can create your compost bin like that. However, I thought to myself, man, in order to get to the worm castings, you have to get through the top. You have to move all the material that you put inside of it, move it all over, move the worms over to get down to the bottom, because when the worms poop out their food, which is our fertilizer, it sits on the bottom of it, and then the worms migrate north up to a bunch of, where all the other food is, because you're constantly throwing it in. I was gonna do that one. However, I came across a flow-through worm casting bin, which is the same concept as a compost bin. However, instead of moving all the material over and getting from the top, I'm getting it from the bottom. All right, so that is what I'm gonna do today. Now, I just have here a standard 13-gallon garbage can. That's it. You see it? Wider this way, narrow on this side. All right, this is the one I'm gonna be using. Now, the first thing first is, in order to have a flow-through worm casting bin, you gotta cut the bottom off. As you can see, I cut this here already in a previous time that I was trying to do this. All you have to do is just take a regular standard handsaw. That's it, just a standard handsaw. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna cut the bottom of your garbage can right off, about an inch, inch and a half from the bottom. As you can see, I did it already. Now, don't throw this away, because being that our compost bin is technically open on the bottom, any of the extra liquids and all that stuff that comes out, I believe we call it leachate. Now, that's some good stuff. That's some good material. So don't waste it. Don't throw it away. You can use that as fertilizer for your crops outside or for your houseplants. So don't throw it away. But that is why I'm keeping this. There are other materials that you're going to need aside from the garbage can. So I'm using 2x3s, just your standard regular wood. Non-treated. I'm not using any treated wood like this, because this is not going to be sitting outside. I have 3 different sizes that I'm using. Okay, I have a 30-inch right here. I have a 10-inch right here. Oop. And I also have a 15-inch. But those are the 3 sizes that I have. And you're going to need a regular standard screw, to screw in the wood. But I have 3-inch screws. Okay, and I'm using roofing screws. Now, I'm using roofing screws. I have a washer right there, as you can see. Now, that would kind of prevent the screw from going all the way directly through the plastic and directly into the wood. You don't want to mess up your plastic. So this kind of gives it like a buffer. So that's why I'm using those. Final piece that makes this one a little different from all the other rest of them is I'm using metal. Now, for the flow-through worm bins, this is an open hole. So we're going to have to find a way to kind of keep everything inside while it's decomposing. I found metal, and it's a lot thinner than your PVC pipe. You can see a bunch of holes. I pre-drilled them because I'm going to be putting in those screws later on, because we have to put it through here, and I want this hole that I'm going to put this pipe through nice and snug. All right, because if you put the screws in beforehand, you're going to make the hole to put this in through a lot wider, and the worms can possibly escape from there, and I don't want that. All right, I have a piece of the frame here started already. All I did was take 2 30-inch pieces and screwed it together with a 10-inch right here. All right, I screwed them in from the sides, but now I'm gonna go build the other side of the frame. What you're gonna need is, there is a drill bit piece that you use to pre-drill holes into wood. And makes life a lot easier when you're trying to screw in a bunch of screws later on. So I pre-drilled a few holes on the side to make my life easier screwing in those screws. Now I use 3-inch screws. However, I'm thinking at least 3.5 to 4-inch screws would be ideal. So I just reinforced the heck out of that. See, I'm left-handed, so things do not work out well when I'm using my right hand. When building the frame, it would be a lot easier to build it if I had clamps. However, I did not have any, so I was working on the floor. But using clamps would definitely make your life so much easier. This one, and now I have this one. What's gonna happen here is we're gonna need to put this one on top. So I'm gonna have to change the angle as to how I do this. As you can see here, this is gonna rest right on top of it, and it is the same size, so it would rest comfortably right there. Now I'm drilling the 10-inch piece of wood to those side frames because that is going to connect both of those side frames that I have together. It happened! Alright, let's test out the garbage can. We slide it in and bam! It fits! Perfect! This is what I'm talking about. These bottom pieces, I had them on before. However, they needed to come off because I did not pre-measure where the metal piece was going to go into the trash can and the wood was going to settle. So that was my bad on my part. But once you figure it out and you measure first, then you shouldn't run into this problem. 10-inch pieces were not necessarily the problem. It was the smaller pieces, as you can see here, because the wood kept on hitting onto the metal, and that's not what I wanted. So I had to readjust. That is why you measure first, knowing where that metal piece is going to come out and where your frame would go. Okay, time to work on the trash can. I took a spade bit, roughly equivalent of the same size of the metal that I'm using, and I'm drilling 3 holes on the smaller ends of the trash can because I will be putting that metal pipe through those holes. If you're using PVC pipe, you would have to use or make the holes a lot larger. So now we fit this there. It's right on top. What? What? Oh my gosh, it actually works! It actually works! As you can see, this trash can fits perfectly inside of this frame that we built. But notice that there is a lip on that trash can. Now, you have 2 options. One, to completely remove it so you can cover this, because this has to get covered so the worms and the smell does not escape. So, you have an option of finding something that can fit that garbage can lid, or you're going to have to cut the lip off so you can fit, a cover on top of it that will fit flush with the wood. Time to secure the garbage can to the frame using those roofing screws. They're going to come in handy. We're going to line the entire inside of that garbage can. This will be getting heavier as we fill this up. So I want to make sure that this does not fall, because that would suck. That would totally suck. I am also screwing the bottom of the garbage can to the frame around it. Now this is where I had to take off those pieces of 2x3s and readjust them because I kind of screwed up my measurements. But that is how you want it to go. The wood is going to be bolted on in the bottom to secure it even further. That is a lot. That is a lot. That is a lot. But now it works. Now it works. Finishing touches. Guys, we're at the home stretch. Notice I have those metal pipes already in. They have holes already pre-drilled in them to make your life easier. Imagine trying to screw in a screw on a metal pipe without a pre-drilled hole. It's not easy at all. So that is why I pre-drilled. These 3-inch screws that I've been using for the frame, I'm also using for inside on that metal pipe. This is what's gonna help turn and get rid of, basically drop all the castings when I turn the metal pipes. This is gonna make my life easier. So I'm just drilling a bunch of these screws and I'm covering the entire, all of those 3 pipes. Alright, once we finish up with the screws, as you can see here, I'm going to be turning. So when it comes time to release the worm castings from the bottom of it, all I do is push back and forth and turn the knob, you know, turn the metal pipes, and bam, this should make harvesting of worm castings a lot easier. These are my handles. What? All I needed to find was a bunch of little recycled materials around my house, my property, and there you go. All you take is a blade, whatever kind of blade, X-Acto blade or whatever blade, to cut the rim around it. So that is optional too. I may do that, I may not do that. It depends if I can find a lid that will fit right on top of this garbage can. If I don't find a lid, then I will cut this off. So you just cut the rim off. You don't have to worry about it falling through because we bolted the crap out of it here and in the bottom. So this ain't going nowhere. This was a lot, but I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, don't forget to smash that like button. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell. I drop a video every week. This is probably most likely going to be a series. Next time we see each other, I'm going to be filling this up with the material for the worms along with the worms. Have you guys tried a worm composting bin before? A regular one, a flow-through worm bin? Let me know. Let me know in the comments down below if you've ever tried one of these. This is my first time. I'm very hyped up about it, and you know, I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to fill this in. So until next time, my peoples, I'll see you guys later. Bye.